In this video, you're going to write a new version of the code you wrote in the previous video, but this time using ES7's async await. Now, again, you need to be comfortable with async await, otherwise you need to go back to the ES6 section or ES6 and ES7 section and review async await. All right, so let's dive in our code. So a new version using async await. So we're going to create a function, which is going to be an async function. So let's call it f, for example. So inside this function, we're going to run the same code, but this time we're going to use await whenever we want to return a promise. So let's start with the first promise, which is that one. So we're going to await the result of this, like that. And then once this is done, we're going to read our file Jupyter. So instead of then, we will just create a variable data where we're going to wait for the output of await this. So again, async await helps you write asynchronous code which looks synchronous from the look of it. So this is still asynchronous code. You're going to wait for the result of this and then store it inside data. Okay, so let's move to the next line. So once we get data, we're going to log the contents like that. And then we're going to move to the next step where we're going to append to our file. So we're going to await this code to run. And then we're going to set data again to the output of read file, and then we're going to log the new content like that. Okay, so now once you write code like this, you need to run the function f and then catch any errors like that. So we're going to pass to the catch method the same code we passed to that method earlier. So basically it's actually the same catch method. Okay, so let's run our code and see how it goes. So to start, I'm going again to change the content of Jupyter just to see the changes. So let's run our code. And before doing that, let's comment the previous code. Like that. And let's comment everything we had before as well. Okay, so let's try and see. So we're going to run node app underscore async await, and here we go. So if we check the content of Jupyter, we get the right content. Okay, so at the beginning the content becomes I am learning code when we override the content using that line, and then we append that line, and that's the new content. So our code works properly. Now let's try to get an error. So let's read a file that does not exist. And let's see what we get. Okay, so we get an error which is very similar to what we had before when trying with promises in the previous video without async await. Okay. And if you try on this line instead, you get the same error. All right, perfect. So in the next video, you're going to get introduced to a few more methods, a few more useful methods in the FS module of Node.js.